And vulnerable prisoner stands for somebody that's on protection. Somebody that's committed an S offence, someone like Wayne Couzens, who can't go on normal location because of the offence that they're in for. They'll be attacked of the other inmates. So these are classed as vulnerable prisoner, even though they're far from vulnerable for what they've done on the outside when their victims were vulnerable. They weren't vulnerable when they committed the offences, but come into prison, then they become vulnerable. Then they become the victim. And then they're kept segregated, so they're just with people who are also on protection, or someone who's in for a similar offence, or someone who won't dare step foot on general population or normal location because they'll be attacked for what they've done, or because they've snitched on another inmate and they've been sent down there, or they're down there for drug debts. So all of the murders that have happened in prison have all happened on the VP wings. But in prison, you call them the bacon wings. And the reason why they get called bacon wings is because when I was in there, they used to say bacon because bacon is off a pig and a pig is a beast. They call them beasts, the beast wings. But it's also a Cockney rhyme and slam, bacon bunce equals nonce. So that's what they call it, the bacon wings, the nonce wings. And a murder that happened inside HMP Franklin not long after I was moved from there happened on the bacon wings, and that was 2 inmates went in on another inmate who was an S offender. They took him hostage. Well, they took him hostage, but the screws on anybody outside the pod didn't know what was going on. Because at the time, if you went behind your door, you could actually shut the door, slam the door, so the door would slam shut. The lock would automatically lock, and then you were trapped inside your cell until the screws come and opened it. But since this murder actually happened, they actually locked the door from, when they opened you on unlock, they would click the door so the bolt was hanging out on the outside so you couldn't slam the door shut, so they couldn't take people hostage that way. And this all happened after this murder took place. But what happened was these 2 individuals, can't remember the names, I've done a video on them previously, but I've done that many videos on different prisoners, I can't remember all the names. But these 2 individuals took this S offender. He was from Carlisle. He was in for raping. I'll not say the actual word because, like I mentioned, a young child. And these 2 individuals didn't do that type of offence, but they were in for something similar where they'd killed elderly people. One of them had killed elderly people, and another one had done something which represented or which deserved him to be down or classed as a bacon, to be on them wings. These 2 individuals took the lad in the pad, got him in a headlock, stabbed his eyes out, cut his intestines open, or cut his stomach open, pulled his intestines out. They were actually going to eat his liver. That was their plan. But according to reports, what they said was when they actually pulled his insides out, they didn't have the bottle to actually take a bite out of it. But they went out, covered in blood, went and said to the screws, look at what I've done, there's 1 less for roll count, and that's what happened with that murder inside HMP Franklin. But another one happened in HMP Long Lawton, which was similar. 2 lads went in on this, I believe he was an Indian lad who was in for a similar offence to what I've just mentioned. No, sorry, he killed his girlfriend's daughter. His girlfriend's baby was only about 1 or 2 years old. And these 2 inmates, I think it was another 2 inmates, they went in, acted out their own, what you call as prison justice, where the prisoners feel as though being inside of prison isn't enough punishment for them. So the other prisoners act out prison justice, and that's what they've done to this fella. And they've done similar to what I just mentioned, but I think they choked him to death as well, and they killed him. They both got extra time added on. In fact, they both got another life sentence. They were doing life sentence anyway. They then went on to get life without parole, and I've done a video on these as well. And another inmate, Richard Huckle, I remember his name because he was quite high profile, this one. He was branded as the worst pedophile in the UK. I've done a video on him, but I am going to do updated videos on the people that I've just mentioned because it was a while back when I'd done them. But another inmate acted out prison justice, took him in the pad, and some of the things that he done to him was actually very graphic and disgusting. You can understand what I'm about to say, that he got a makeshift weapon and he actually done to him what he'd done to the young kids, but he done it with the weapon, give him some of his own, or give him a taste of his own medicine from his point of view, and killed him. And that Richard Huckle was one of the worst in the UK, but he got what some people in prison would call karma, got what he deserved, and he was no longer. He left full Sutton in a body bag. And that's why these prisons are the most dangerous, because there's no fighting, as in one-on-one fights, fisticuffs. And if you're going to get into trouble with somebody come looking for you in them prisons, they're going to try and take your life with a makeshift knife. But